Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Aureo, or Golden Wind, if you prefer, episode 13. So yeah, last we left off, we are on Fugo's reveal story. So we've got Fugo's backstory and all. We found out about his history, about his anger issues, how he beat the shit out of a college professor when he was 13. Because the professor was coming on to him in a very disturbingly creepy way. Yeah, that was the thing. And how he was basically bailed out of jail by his wealthy parents, who then disowned him because of what he did. But he was taken in by Bruno and became basically, from what we could tell, the first true member of Bruno's gang. So I'm interested to see exactly where it takes it now. We also found out about his stand, Purple Haze. So Purple Haze is a stand that is kind of representative of Fugo's insane anger. It's exceptionally birthed in nothing but that rage. Now, it does seem to have a little comical side to it, too, being a bit of a high-strung germaphobe, almost, constantly wiping the drool from its leg and whatnot. But yeah, it's very violent, it's very impulsive, it's creepy as fuck, let's be honest. Its design is very, very creepy. Its power, with the capsules on its knuckles, being able to release that deadly toxin that will kill anything indiscriminately near it. That's insane. Now I'm wondering how Fugo's going to use this to defeat Illuso, though, because Illuso and Man in the Mirror are inside the mirror dimension, and Purple Haze is outside of it. Now, I don't think Purple Haze is attacking, randomly. I think that he attacked the wall, killing the birds, attacking the mirror, all of that I think was intentional, but I just don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know exactly what Fugo's planning and how it's going to help. Meanwhile, on the outside world, though, Abacchio has basically abandoned Giorno and Fugo. Basically, his mindset being that nothing else matters but the mission right now. That they have to get the key by the dog mosaic in order to get Trish to her father in the long run. That's the main goal in the long run. And I can kind of see that mindset. But Giorno, meanwhile, is more of no, we have to help Fugo. He's our teammate. We can't just let him be. We can't just ignore him. We can't just move on without him. And I'm more inclined to agree with Giorno here. And let me explain what this makes me think of. So recently, I watch Netflix. I use a friend's Netflix, and I watch a few different things on there. As you know, I do some reactions from Netflix, but there's also a couple things that I just watch on my own. The two big ones are Supernatural and Breaking Bad right now. And recently, I started Season 5 of Breaking Bad, the final season, and in the season, and since this Breaking Bad's been over for a while, I'm not considering this, I'm considering the timeline for spoilers to be over. So, if you have not seen Breaking Bad and really don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead a little bit, I'd say. Because I'm about to spoil some, honestly, major plot elements to Season 5. In season 5, there's a point where Jesse and Walt are working together with Mike Ehrmantraut. Mike has been in the series, most of the series, I believe, and he's now working with Walt and Jesse, and they're basically trying to pull off this train heist. They're going to stop a train, and they have a very short time to stealthily steal all of the methylamine, which is key to creating the blue meth, or just, I think, any meth, really. They're going to steal an entire train car's worth of methylamine, just pump it out of the tank, and replace it with water that will just basically water down the traces of methylamine still in there, and make it so like no one ever knows. But they have a very short amount of time. They managed to do it, not without a hitch. It is very close. And right as they're finishing up, right as they're wrapping up, and the train's heading out, they see a kid. And one of the guys they're working with, named Todd, without hesitation, just shoots the kid. Because his belief is that, oh, the kid might have seen something, and might have said something to someone. And this creates this ongoing kind of debate of morality between the characters. And this is kind of where I'm going with this on how it relates to JoJo. Because Jesse, who's probably my favorite character in the series, he basically chooses to bow out of the meth industry because of this. He chooses to leave Walter's side, leave his operation and everything, and his reasoning is because he can't handle that kind of thing. He can't handle innocent people dying, but especially kids. Jesse has a very, very high sense of morality. Yes, he's a druggie. Yes, he's been a drug dealer longer than even Walt. And yes, he's done some pretty terrible things. But he does have a sense of morality to him that has, in the last couple seasons of the show, has definitely been getting higher for him. And I think the reason for that is because of his relationships growing with his love interest. I won't like straight up say girlfriend. I'd say more just love interest at the moment. And her son. Walt, meanwhile, is showing that he's putting the operation above everything else. He refuses to leave, even when given this this good deal that could help him gain more money than he ever needed or whatnot, more money than he ever wanted in the first place when he first started this. He's given this offer, but he refuses to leave, and basically goes to the point where he almost outright says, it's not about the money anymore. It's not about the meth anymore. It's about the empire. All he cares about now is building this empire, being the best at something. All he cares about is the mission. Abacchio in Vento Aureo is basically the Walt here. Now, I'm not saying that Abacchio is as bad as Walt. No, not by any means. Walter White is the villain of Breaking Bad, let's be honest. More so than Gus Fring, more so than Tuco Salamanca, or any of the other antagonists we've seen in Breaking Bad. Walt is the villain. That much is clear. If anyone's the hero, it's Walt's family, and especially Hank. But yeah, so Abacchio is definitely not what I'd call a villain. He does bad stuff, but he's not a bad guy, really. So they're not quite the same, but it's the same kind of mindset here. The mission above everything else. Other people in the long run don't matter. Giorno, meanwhile, is more along the lines of Jesse's mindset. Jesse chooses to bow out because of what happened with the kid. Jesse realizes that people are more important than any of this. And there's even a part in the most recent episode I watched where Jesse basically forgoes even on his share of the money from this deal that Walt ends up making. And he's like, no, I'm out. I don't even care about the money anymore. You can keep the money. I'm just out. I'm not in this anymore. And he just leaves, even without the money that he was promised, that he was supposed to be guaranteed to have. Because he understands that there are things more important than that. And that's what Giorno's like here. Giorno understands that Fugo is more important than their mission right now. He understands that people, their friends, their comrades, are what really matters, and that they have to save Fugo before anything else. And, like I said, I'm more on Giorno's side here. I think that they should help Fugo, but I also don't think Fugo actually needs the help. Fugo is definitely planning something here. Remember, he's the smart one. He is the smartest member of Team Bucciarati. We know that. They made a point of telling us that with his backstory. I mean, he was in university at age 13. Not just college. University. Like, there's a big difference between, like, going to a college, like a 4-year program, basically, than going to a big university and getting a master's degree in something. Like, there's a difference. There's a big difference between the two. He went to university, and from what it looked like, it was probably a pretty good university, too. Like, if you were to, I guess, compare it to something like here in where I live in Michigan, it's probably comparable to, like, Michigan State University or the University of Michigan, one of those two. I mean, one of the big ones, yeah. So it's probably on that kind of level. So he's exceptionally smart. He went to university at only 13 years old. And there are people who have done that in real life. But it shows how smart he is. And so we know that he's planning something right now, that he has a way to get out of here. He just needs to be able to enact it. Yes, he's been kind of driven against the wall. He was taken by surprise by Man in the Mirror's power. He was taken by surprise by the fact that he wasn't able to have Purple Haze in the mirror world with him. But that doesn't mean he can't think of something else. And I like that Fugo is that kind of character who kind of blends two kind of character traits that a lot of people would think are separate. He's rage incarnate. He has like just these insane anger issues, yet he's exceptionally smart. And people don't think of those traits together. Usually the raging one is the idiot, the raging idiot. It's a stereotype. It's a character trope. Heck, Part 4, Okuyasu was kind of a raging idiot type. So it's like, yeah, that kind of trope's been done even in JoJo. But no, this time the raging guy is the genius of the group, a literal genius. And that's cool. I like that. I like that the smart guy is the raging one. Though, to be fair, Narancia, who's kind of the dumb one of the group, he rages too. Not as much as Fugo, though, and I don't think as hard as Fugo. Because Fugo definitely has more of a noteworthy anger issue that's, like, drawn attention to. Narancia can get angry too, but usually Narancia has to be provoked. Fugo can just, like, snap at the drop of a hat. Narancia is usually provoked either by Fugo sometimes, as we've seen, or, like, obviously by the enemy. So it's kind of a different situation. Narancia has a short temper. Fugo has anger issues. That's how I want to put it. Either way, the fact that I've been talking for almost 15 minutes now just about this kind of stuff and making these comparisons to Breaking Bad, which, by the way, I didn't mention, but is a phenomenal show. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, definitely check it out. But the fact that I've been able to make these comparisons, I've been able to talk just in pre-thoughts for 15 minutes, that's the sign that this is really damn good. That it's really doing its job and making us as viewers take in this information. That it's making us think about these characters and think about the complexities of them. I still would not say that this is as good as Part 4 for me. I'd even put it kind of within the range of Part 3 currently. I don't know whether I like it more than Part 3 yet, because honestly, not too much has actually happened. If you really think about it, where we're at in Vento Aureo so far, not a lot has actually happened. Giorno joined the gang, and they've been fighting some other stand users. The biggest thing that's probably happened so far is that Bruno became a capo, and that they're now specifically working a mission from the boss to protect his daughter. Otherwise, it's like, we're 13 episodes in, and not a lot has actually occurred. It's not like with Part 3 or Part 4, where it's like right off the bat we're getting a lot given to us. Like Part 3, I mean, introducing stands, Dio's return, you have Kakyoin and the formation of the Stardust Crusaders, Holly getting sick, going on their journey towards Egypt. A lot happened at the very beginning of Part 3. A lot. And then Part 4, even, you have quite a lot. You have the return of Jotaro. You have the introduction of Josuke and Koichi and Okuyasu. You have the stand arrow brought into things. The basically influence of Dio still being around despite him physically being gone. You have just the idea of this mysterious villain in the background that you're only seeing very, very brief hints at through disembodied hands on occasion. And it's like it's giving you a lot of information, but I think Part 4 handled it in a more subtle way than Part 3. Part 3 was like, oh, like, take all this information at once. Part 4 was a lot more subtle and clever about it. But Part 5, again, not as much has happened. I mean, yes, Koichi's back. Yes, we have another stand arrow. Yes, we have the entire organization of Passion, and again, Bruno's a capo now. We have the assassination group who's after them and stuff. I'm not saying that there's not actually things happening, but it's more like it's like, for example, the past bunch of episodes have just been like, oh, taking on an enemy, focusing on one of our heroes, finding out their stands and backstories. That's been the past quite a few episodes, let's be honest. In fact, I'd even say most of the series so far has just been that. Because this is now the second episode with Fugo being in the focus. We had 3 episodes with Narancia. We had 2 with Mista. We had 2 with Abakio. And it's just like, that's like 2, 4... That's 9 out of 13 episodes. That has just been the same thing over and over again, just with different stands and different locations. Again, a couple of other things have happened within that, like, again, getting the message from the boss, the introduction of Trish, the entire thing with the what's it called? The treasure and all. Palpo's treasure. So other things have happened. The assassination group. But all in all, it's just like, it's the same basic thing over and over again. And I'm not saying it's bad. Not by any means. I'm just saying, like, not a lot has happened in terms of the thematic storytelling. Not a lot in terms of plot. has really gone down. Like, honestly, in general, where they're at now, with with getting the message from the boss and everything, and having to do this mission to get the doghead relief, this feels more like it's still within the first 5 or 6 episodes. It feels like it's been stretched out. Again, not saying it's bad. I've really enjoyed how this season has gone, how Vento Aureo has gone. I'm just saying, it just feels like not as much has happened as previous parts. And I'm thinking that because of that, they're going to go one of 2 routes. Either this is just how this series is, or there's going to be a breaking point where shit hits the fan and it just bolts into overdrive, which I could completely believe for JoJo. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe that'll happen after we're finally done introducing all of the members of Team Bucciarati. Also, I'm wondering when we're going to get our new opening, because that should be happening within the next few episodes, I think. This has, like, I think it's about the same amount of episodes are planned for this series as there were for Part 4. Which means we'll probably get 3 openings. Which, again, means we probably should be getting a new one fairly soon. I don't know for sure, of course, but that's what I'm hoping for, at least. Because I like the opening. I love fighting gold. But it's about that time where we do get something else. And I'm thinking, following the introduction of all our main characters, getting all of their backstories, all of their stands and everything, that would be a good point to change over. Have the new opening focusing more on the, on maybe the boss, on Trish, on the assassination group. Having those be a major focus of the new opening would be a good idea in my eyes. And I think, again, it is about time after we move away from all of these introductory segments to the show. But either way, I've talked on long enough. These pre-thoughts are insane. Like, just the fact that I've been able to talk this much about it just in advance. I do want to get to the episode, though. I'm really excited to see more. And so we're just going to do so. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I'll be honest, I'm kind of mixed on this episode. I mean, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was, like, really well, like, handled and written, and the characters were great. And I loved the way it was solved in the end. But, this was supposed to be Fugo's episode. These 2 episodes were supposed to be Fugo's episodes. We're supposed to focus on him, and we're supposed to have him be like the main character, basically, to solve everything, to defeat the enemy. Fugo is also, as I mentioned in the pre-thoughts, the smartest of Team Bucciarati. He's a certified genius. Entered university at age 13. I'll be honest. Fugo was worthless here. Fugo, after being pulled into the mirror, was completely worthless. He didn't solve a damn thing. He pretty much didn't do shit. I mean, yes, he was able to have Purple Haze deal the finishing blow to Illuso, but he wouldn't have been able to do anything if it wasn't for Giorno and Abbacchio. This episode just was mainly an episode for those 2, especially Giorno. And I get it, Giorno's the main character of the series. He's the JoJo and everything. But still, all of these episodes for introducing Team Bucciarati have been focused on each of the characters. I mean, we had the Abbacchio episode. Yes, in the end, Abbacchio was taken in as well, and Bruno had to be the one to finish it. But in the end, Abbacchio is the one who figured out what was going on and basically told Bruno, without actually like speaking or anything, without saying it outright. He's the one who basically told Bruno what was going on. He was still technically the one to solve it. With Mista, like, Giorno was the only other one on the island at the moment. He wasn't anywhere near them. Mista solved it all on his own. With Narancia, again, he was the only one there. He solved it on his own. He defeated his opponent on his own. And Fugo, like, they make a point of telling us how fucking smart Fugo is, and he doesn't end up using his intelligence. They make a point of this being Fugo's episodes, and he barely does anything in them. While again, this episode was very well done, very great, very well made, very entertaining, it pisses me off almost that they slighted Fugo in this way. And I'm not saying like Fugo's my favorite character, so I feel slighted too because they slighted him. No, that would have been more if they did that to Narancia. But no, I like Fugo. He's one of my favorites for sure. But that's not even the point here. The point is that this was supposed to be Fugo's episode. He was supposed to be the one to solve this. He was supposed to be the one to shine. He didn't shine. Like I said, the only thing he did was at the very end, and he had to be helped to be able to find Aluso. Giorno solved everything. Abbacchio did an amazing job as well, but Giorno was the one who, in the end, finished it all off. It's all because of Giorno and Abbacchio. Fugo landing the finishing blow is pretty much pointless when he had to be basically handheld to get to that point. It doesn't develop him well as a character. And that's irritating because he had so much potential. The idea of him using his insane intelligence to be able to get out of this, to somehow work around this problem that was very much an extremely problematic situation, that was an amazing concept. That was an amazing idea that they completely ignored. It would have been fantastic to see how he could use that intelligence. But no, instead, they just make Giorno come out of nowhere with this amazing plan, which was an amazing plan, mind you, that basically solved everything. Even Abbacchio's plan didn't really amount to much in the end. It did get the key to Giorno, which allowed him to enact his plan, but even so, it was mostly Giorno. Fugo didn't do shit. I'm sorry, but that's irritating. When all the other members of Bruno's gang got their time to shine, and Fugo is just slighted like this. He's just slighted, and I for the love of hell cannot understand why. For the love of hell, I cannot understand why Araki, I guess, would do this. The only thing I can think of is maybe that there are plans for Fugo going forward that are going to definitely do him more right. But as of this point, that was exceedingly disappointing. And again, I'm not saying the episode was bad. I want to emphasize that. I am not saying the episode itself was bad, or that it wasn't entertaining, or that it wasn't extremely clever how Illuso was defeated. It was. It was a good episode otherwise. But this is my only issue with the episode. And it's not like this massive issue that like hurts the overall quality of the episode. It's just it's more like just extremely irritating for me. Because if you think back to Stardust Crusaders, all of the members of Stardust Crusaders had their time to shine. Whether it be Joseph, Jotaro, Avdol, you have even Iggy. Even fucking Iggy had his time to shine when he defeated Pet Shop. Fucking Iggy, the farting jackass dog, got his time to shine. And it was amazing. In Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, all of the main heroes got their time to shine. Whether it be Josuke, Jotaro, Joseph, Okuyasu, you have Koichi, you even have Rohan getting his time to shine. But, I mean, for the love of God, we can't allow Fugo to shine here. We can't allow Fugo to have a moment. Despite the fact that all of these previous 8 episodes have been giving every other member of Team Bucciarati a time to shine. Heck, even episode 2, really, gave Bruno himself a time to shine. Well, kind of episode 1 and 2, but mostly episode 2. And it's just like every single member of Bruno's gang has had that time in this first set of episodes, this first amount of episodes. And they just fuck over Fugo. They get the first episode of this part of these 2 episodes. This segment builds up Fugo, builds him up. He's so freaking smart, but he has anger issues. He has this amazing but uncontrollable stand that is terrifying but dangerous to even his allies. The first episode of this last episode ended off on this really cool moment that made it look like Fugo was about to do something awesome. That he was about to come back with his intelligence and be a badass. And showcase that he was going to think his way through this. That it wasn't just going to be blind action. That he had a plan. But no. No, Fugo was fucking worthless. Fugo was fucking worthless. He didn't do shit until the very end, and again, he had to be led to that. He had to literally be handheld to even be able to do anything. Yes, I get it. His stand is excessively dangerous. I get it that he himself is not, like, exceptionally strong or anything. But he could have done something with his intelligence. You can't... Why would you build up his intelligence so much just to make him a worthless idiot? Literally. You make a point of saying how he's so fucking intelligent. He entered university at 13, and yet, in this episode, he might as well have the intelligence of Okuyasu. Or Narancia. Heck, Narancia was clearly smarter than him. Clearly able to do more. Yes, Narancia wasn't trapped in a mirror world, away from his stand, but still. If Fugo is this fucking smart, and he wasn't being overcome with his anger at that moment, he should have been able to figure something out. And you could have even had the same thing with what happened with Giorno and all. Somehow made it so that Fugo could have gotten a message out to Giorno to do all of this. that it was all Fugo's plan. That would have been great if somehow they could have worked that out. But the fact that Fugo was basically a sniveling baby who didn't know what to do, who was panicked, and had to be saved by Abbacchio and Giorno. I'm sorry that these afterthoughts have been almost entirely on, well, actually, I think entirely on this one thing, but honestly, it's the main thing to talk about with this episode. The way they defeated Illuso and were able to get the key and everything was cool and all. Like, it was like I said, it was very smart. It was very clever. Giorno had an amazing plan there, and it went off. Abbacchio, I guess, is just missing a hand now. Okay, that's a thing. I like the entire thing of how the snake, because it was birthed from a brick that had already been affected by the virus, that it's just it has that immunity automatically in it and is able to be used as a vaccine. I like that. The battle itself was cool. I do really like the diamondization effect. Kind of reminds me of Hoseki no Kuni. Just how the gems in that looked on the inside when they were like broken and whatnot. Definitely makes me think of that. And it's just like there's a lot to love with this episode. There is a lot to enjoy with it. Hell, the fact that Illuso was killed in such a brutal, horrifying way. Like, imagine that. Imagine having your insides melted like that. While you're aware, while you're conscious, while you're feeling it all. And Giorno had to be feeling pain. Oh, and I kind of like how they went with a very anime trope that dates back to Dragon Ball Z. Oh, the virus will spread to you and kill you within 30 seconds. 5 minutes later, they're still talking about it, and Giorno's still alive, having not yet taken the antidote yet from the snake. It's just like, it makes me think of how it's like in Dragon Ball Z, like Frieza was gonna destroy the planet in like, I don't know, was it like 30 minutes or something like that? And it took like episodes upon episodes and upon episodes. Or no, the planet was already in the process of being destroyed. But it's like that's always been an ongoing joke for fans of DBZ. And it's like, I kind of like how they almost kind of did the same kind of concept here. It's like, oh, 30 seconds. That was more than fucking 30 seconds. That was a lot more than 30 seconds. I don't know about 5 minutes exactly. That was just a random estimate, but the point is, that was much more than 30 seconds. Even in universe, you can't, like, really believe that was only 30 seconds. I find that funny. I do find that funny. So, yeah, this episode had a lot going for it and did a lot right. As I said, the episode itself was extremely entertaining. Extremely fun, extremely well handled and well written. But in order to do all of that, in order for it to be as good as it did, it had to fuck over Fugo. It had to nerf him to such a degree and make him an idiot when he's the smartest member of the team. And it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I know that's a trope in anime that maybe that Araki was purposefully doing here as because, you know, JoJo kind of purposefully uses these kinds of tropes and stuff. So maybe that was intentional, but it just felt like, it didn't feel like it was a parody of the trope. It just felt like it was the trope itself. Like that the character was unnecessarily and unrealistically nerfed in his intelligence and skill just to be able to make the plot here work. And I'm really disappointed, because again, it could have been so amazing to see what kind of concepts or ideas or just amazing things that could have been done from Fugo's extreme intelligence. And they decided not to take that route at all, and it's disappointing. And then we saw someone at the end, in the after-credits scene. I don't know if that was one of the members of the assassination group, or if it was someone else. But it's someone who's very important. Now, I'm still thinking that they're probably going to start with a new intro next episode. Maybe within the next couple episodes, but I'm thinking probably next episode now, because this seems like this was the end to the first arc. Like, the first arc, getting to know Bruno's gang and everything, and getting things really started. It feels like this was where that ended, where that came to a head. And especially, again, with that after-credits scene, it seems like they're going to be going into something bigger now. Yes, they're still dealing with the members of the assassination group. Yes, they're still technically doing the same thing with getting Trish to her father. But I feel like it's going to start ramping up now. Because now we don't have to worry about introducing all of the different characters. We don't have to worry about giving them the focus and attention. Because we now know them all. We know all of our heroes. The only stands and characters we really have to meet are the enemies. So we can progress further into the story without being hindered by this kind of thing. The only thing I think we might have to worry about is maybe Trish. Maybe learning more about Trish. But that, I feel, would be more akin to the main story than something to hinder it from continuing forward. Yeah, either way, I like where this is going, but again, I just had a big issue with the fact that they fucked over Fugo with this episode. And I don't know. I don't know how it's done in the manga, and I don't know if Fugo's going to have his time to shine in the future. I hope so. But as always, don't tell me any spoilers in the comments. Don't spoil anything for me. Don't tell me if anything big is going to happen with Fugo or whatnot in the future, or if this is setting up for something. Don't tell me that kind of stuff. I want, if this is setting up for something and ends up being worth it in the end, I definitely don't want to be spoiled to that. But either way, tell me what you thought of this episode in the comments below. What did you think about the way that Giorno solved this problem? What do you think about the fact that Fugo was fucked over so badly? Do you really think that was fair? Tell me your thoughts on all of that and more in the comments below. And once again, no spoilers. Please. In the meantime, though, yeah, I did enjoy this as much as I could otherwise. So for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live, love, laugh.